a federal case for an urban legend. I'm Rebecca Lieb.
I'm Jason Horton.
And this is Ghost Town.
At FBI Records Vault tweets out Bigfoot and a link.
What?
Yes.
What?
It's the FBI's investigation into Bigfoot.
Ooh, baby.
I mean, right? Isn't that so?
The FBI, they are, that is when myth and fact collide.
Well, there was a time where, for the men who talk to goats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
mind control, ESP.
Mind control, ESP, remote viewing, the metaphysical, the new age in use in the military, which is one of the strangest.
Love that.
Interesting, but one of the strangest when now like science is constantly being denied.
Yeah.
But things like space army and we can walk through walls.
Yeah.
Something on remote viewing is something that I've had like somebody I know who trained in it. It's
really
an odd story I'll talk about another time, but I feel like it all kind of goes hand in hand at a time in the late 60s and 70s and 80s where the federal government and the military took things seriously that we laugh at now as urban legends and stuff like that.
It's real backwards because now it's like vaccinations, urban legend.
Yeah, Bigfoot, get on the case.
Yeah, we got this. We're on it. Exactly.
So this is the 40th anniversary, approximately, a little bit longer than the 40th anniversary.
Bigfoot turns 40.
Well, no, he's way older than 40. But he was. They weren't like, hey, Bigfoot is born.
The idea of Bigfoot turns 40.
It was back thousands of years. So
Bigfoot wasn't born in 76.
No, Bigfoot. Bigfoot is one of those things that it's like if you talk about like what is the staple urban legend.
Oh yeah,
Bigfoot.
Absolutely, it's like Bigfoot with like a UFO in the corner.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's.
Loch Ness not monster nipping his toes.
Something that's somewhat plausible because the way it's described is, being in like a wooded area and it being, beast-like or bear-like or human-like or it's something in that form. So it's not like, hey, the spaceship landed, which is a couple of levels of complicated. Something like Bigfoot is kind of like, okay.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, and it kind of makes sense that there's creatures. There are creatures at the bottom of the ocean that we don't know about that have evolved through millions of years of evolution on this planet. Why wouldn't there be a creature that we didn't know about up in a mountain that kind of looks humanoid?
Yeah, there is so in the mid-1970s, Peter Byrne, he was one of the Bigfoot guys. He's like, I'm doing a lot.
Dude.
I'm doing a lot.
Improv team, the Bigfoots. Can we have a suggestion?
He, was exposed to a lot of, fakery and things like that were just not real. But he said to the Washington Post what he called a credible sighting. Credible sighting.
Your credible is my outlandish.
Yeah,
they were. Fever dream.
They're both also biologists and employees because two men of the U.S. Forest Service, and they spotted an unidentified walking creature in a forest somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, in between a pair of trees.
Of course, the Pacific Northwest too.
That's one of the biggest. It's Pacific Northwest, and then California and like Pennsylvania.
Yeah, honestly, and I'm not saying that I totally believe this, but that makes a lot of sense when the big mammals were in our hemisphere, like the giant sloths and things. Like that was mostly where they were concentrated. There's this book called The Third Chimpanzee by Jared Diamond. He talks a lot about mammalian evolution, and those are the places, baby. Not saying I believe it, but you know what? It's all coming together.
Yeah.
I am the FBI.
So Byrne arrives and he notices the trees are close together. Way too narrow for something with like a Bigfoot to kind of make it through. And between 3 and 5 feet off the ground, snagging the bark, he spotted a tuft of hair and a piece of skin. This is what it's all about. I'm letting you know. it's the FBI is going to analyze a hair and skin.
Yeah.
Just to let you know how this is going to play out. That's what they're going to do. And that was the thing that was like, oh, we have some tangible thing to be identified.
Yeah. They're like, it's from Party City.
Yeah, it's so he he just bagged it and tagged it, delivered to the FBI. I guess in being like hopes to be like, well, I'm one of the number one Bigfoot people, so you have to hear
I'm
me out.
Mr. Bigfoot. That's his vanity plate.
Yeah.
Mr. Bigfoot.
And he said one letter to the FBI, and he asked if an agent could arrange for a comparative analysis of some hairs that we have here, which we are unable to identify. Please be Bigfoot. Please be Bigfoot.
Oh my God.
Please,
yeah,
please
he's like waiting by the phone, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, holy shit. And his wife is like, can you have something to eat? And he's like, I can't eat anything until Bigfoot is identified.
Can you say hello to your kids?
No. Whose kids? What kids?
Yeah, what kids?
Huh? It's his 13th birthday. Shut up.
Yeah. He stressed the urgency of the inquiry. He says, please understand that our research here is serious, that this is a serious question that needs answering.
Yeah.
So and he's also, he's not a skeptic, but I think he is like really looking for something tangible. He's not just trying to be fringe about it. So he's kind of sort of towing the line.
Yeah.
But the FBI was like, yeah, sure.
That guy's like, chill. Yeah. Send it over.
Jay Cochran Jr., who's the assistant director of the FBI's Scientific and Technical Service Division, he's like, I'll test the hair and skin.
I'll test the shit out of that hair and skin. I'll do it tonight.
And request a special exception to department policy, which normally they're not like, we don't take like outside,
We don't take like crazies with their crazies ideas.
According
their bagged hair and skin.
Cochran, he says, occasionally, on a case-by-case basis, in the interest of research and scientific inquiry, we make exceptions to the general policy. I don't know what makes that. Maybe he needs to...
If you took one of my hair and skin clippings and you were like, FBI, hey, I have this thing.
Yes.
This person. Maybe something else. Check it out. They'd be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's like a doctor, right?
It's a credible in the
this
in the
seems
field.
This is a little sketchy, though.
And it's in
really.
this. It's during a time where things were a little fast and loose with science. I think where things were a little kind of open. I believe that's why.
Yeah,
if it was
science.
in either in the 60s or the 70s. And maybe now, anything in between, they'd probably be like, nah.
They'd be like, leave my, please, I'm going to get security. Please leave my office.
He says make exceptions. And then he said the letter that was addressed to Byrne, but never reached him, says, with this understanding, we'll examine the hairs and tissue you mentioned in the letter. He never got, Byrne never figured this out. A few months later, Cochran sent another letter, and he had read the results. And there's a picture. On February 24th, 1977, he wrote that the FBI had examined the sample, quote, by transmitted and incident light microscopy, which included, quote, a study of morphological characteristics such as root structure, medullary structure, and cuticle thickness in addition to scale cast. And then, quote, it was concluded as a result of these examinations that the hair are of the deer family origin.
A deer in the
woods.
In the what? In the Pacific Northwest? Get out of town.
No. So it was, but Byrne only found out about this 40 years later. So
What?
He never got these letters.
Where did these letters go?
I don't know. They never showed up. So he sent it, and he's like, well, the FBI, I guess, doesn't care.
The whole
Makes
city
sense.
of Circleville can get all the letters all the time, but one guy who really needs this letter about the answer to this Yeti problem.
We're referring to the Circleville letters, which is very, very interesting.
Yes, letters keep coming with this guy.
And maybe they put some alien stamps on it.
Yeah. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
Spookies. Yeah.
Maybe it would have helped.
I don't know.
So Byrne, at 93...
Oh my God!
Just found out. So the whole time he never knew what the results were. Maybe it's thinking is like, they just don't want me to know.
Yeah, he's probably spun some giant thing in his head. Finally gets a letter. It's like, oh, a deer.
Yeah.
If this were made into a movie, this would be the most unclimactic ending.
Yeah.
You'd be like on his deathbed. His great granddaughter brings him these old weathered letters that are found. Where do they even find the letters? Do we know?
No. It was just. It's the 40th anniversary, and the FBI just released it.
Oh, okay.
That's what the tweet was.
So they never got there, and the tweet was the letters, and so finally, this 12-year-old great granddaughter brought these tweets to her 93-year-old great grandfather.
Oh no, he was on there. He has a big Twitter follow.
He brought them to her. He was like, listen up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was 40 years ago, and he was kind of in a way at least justified in the fact that when he was like, hey, I sent this letter to the FBI, and everyone's like, and what happened? He's like, no, they probably nothing.
Those pig dogs.
Yeah, and the guy's like, no, I did it, man. Why?
The guy's like, we did the shit we promised you.
You know what? And then I did a little more research on Bigfoot in general. There's just so many. It goes back thousands of years, and then it really goes back about 60 years of the modern Bigfoot searches being, seen in so many different ways and iterations. And I don't know how many like you hear. If you said Bigfoot is like this, and I'm looking for Bigfoot, am I going to see a Bigfoot, a version that's already in my head, but a little bit different?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I think the quintessential Bigfoot is like a giant, like, hairy man, right? Yeah. With like abs for days, like rock hard abs, like
he does keto, pretty much nonstop,
glutes and quads, kind of thing.
If you want a tiny little fun fact, though,
I want a big fat fun fact.
Well, okay, so and then he said even if he got that reply, he wouldn't have been deterred. He's still searching. He has half a dozen
at 93.
Motion sensor that's what's keeping him going. Set up near his Oregon home, and he checks them weekly, hoping for a sighting of his own.
Oh my God.
And he says
he must be a cool guy to hang out with, though.
Listen, he is ambitious. And he's like, so what? It was the hair of a deer. He's like, the real stuff is out there somewhere.
Good stuff.
This is kind of a dead end. Quoted saying, he said of his 1970s era finding, if the FBI says a deer hair, I guess that's it. For now. Little tiny fun fact. I guess Rob Lowe said he thought he saw Bigfoot. Listen, it's Freaky Friday.
Rob Lowe said Bigfoot turned 40, so he turned 40. Case closed, FBI.
He said that he thought he might have an encounter with one. Thought it was going to be killed as a wood ape loomed out of the darkness toward him in the Ozark Mountains in Missouri. He was filming a new paranormal show called The Low Files with his son Matthew and John Owen. So when he was filming the paranormal show, hold on, that's when it happened.
Oh my God.
Isn't that great the way that worked out?
That worked out pretty well for Rob Lowe and co.
I mean, if he was like working on a show about like muscle cars, he's like, this muscle car just jumped out.
Just like, found him.
Just
what?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So if you go, you can find the tweet, and they have the actual file at FBI Records Vault. Also, you can get even more information at patreon.com/ghosttownpod for 2 bonus episodes a month. This is the FBI saying it. It's not the FBI. It's not me.
You can tweet at Rob Lowe all you want, but you know what? You can also get some bonus episodes getting deeper.
Directly from the FBI.
Do you get mad when listening to true crime? Well, so do I. If you want a weekly true crime podcast that says what you're thinking, then grab a beer and pull up a deck chair. This is Cambo from True Crime Island, another true crime podcast, and maintain the rage with me. Visit truecrimeisland.com where you can download or stream each episode, plus there's links to iTunes and social media. And as I always say, don't forget to delete your browser history. This is True Crime Island.